Welcome back. In the previous lecture, we understood how do we execute the Python code in three different ways. It can be on command line, it can be on PyCharm IDE, or by writing the code into a file and saving that with a .py extension and running that on command line. These are the three ways. As a part of this lecture, we'll understand the syntax of Python at a high level, indentation, and comments as well. Let's get started. When we executed the code in the previous lecture, in a way we already touched upon the syntax. Syntax with the Python is very, very simple. You can execute the code on any of the command line. We need not write many things as we do in either C or C++. Can directly go ahead and start executing the code or writing the code on any of the IDE or editor and execute that. Here in this case, we are trying to print and say hello Python, and also we have to include the string which we want to print as a part of the double quotes. This is the syntax to write a print statement, and once we execute this, we'll get a hello Python. Unlike other languages, Python indentation is important. We have already touched upon this, but we'll try to see it. As we have already discussed, indentation in Python refers to the spaces at the beginning of a code line. Other programming languages are using the indentation for readability only. But in case of Python, indentation is very important because Python uses the indentation to indicate the block of code. In case if you vary the indentation, inference of a block may change. That is the reason you should be very careful with the indentation in Python. Let us take an example here. Assuming that if 8 is greater than 2. After the if statement, we are giving a space and printing a statement. 8 is greater than 2. In case if you don't provide any space here, you may end up getting a error. So you got to be very careful with the indentation in Python. Do we have any common ways to identify? You have to be cognizant of the fact that what is the block, assuming that you are providing the if statement. Whatever the statements which come under if should be indented at the same space. After that, else at the same line as that of the if. Then again, statements under else should be indented at the same space as that of the statements under if. So that way, as and when you write a program, you should be cognizant of the fact that what are the blocks, what are the statements, and go on providing the indentation based on that. As and when you start practicing the Python, it is going to be intuitive for you. Next important aspect is Python comments. Why do we really need Python comments? First and foremost thing is comments are used to write something which programmer do not want to execute. If he doesn't want to execute, we can comment that. The second aspect is comments are used to make the code more understandable. For example, now we can say I am writing a function and comment so that readability of the code improves. The next aspect is comments can be used to prevent the execution while testing the code. Let us say you have three blocks: block 1, block 2, block 3. You already know that these two blocks are working, and these two blocks do not have any input to this. What you can do is you can comment these two blocks and go ahead and execute only block 3. We already in a way discussed comments can be used to make code more readable. If you put the comments properly, you will understand what is the reason you are executing this. Where are you getting the input from? How the connection is there from this function to another function. So that way the code becomes more readable. In Python, we have two types of comments. One is a single line comment. The second one is a multi-line comment. To make any one line comment, we can use hash as the indicator to make any line as a comment. For example, in this case, this is a comment because we are using a hash as a part of this line. Multi-line comments are created by the multi-lines. So how do we do that? Basically, Python may not have a real syntax for the multi-line commands, but there is always a workaround. There are two ways you can approach the multi-line command. The one way is go ahead and have the hash in each of the lines. That is one way. The second way is what you can do is you can go ahead and provide the comments as a part of the triple quotes. Any line which is included as a part of the triple quotes, that will be treated as a comment. Why is that? That is because here the triple quotes are intended for denoting the string. If the string is not assigned to any variable, then what Python does is it ignores the string. It ignores the string and it will execute the other lines in the code. Wonderful then. We understood different aspects of comment. Thank you very much.